Hello everybody, it's Kevin Thecanadianhillbilly, and me and Jace are working on the tractor. Kind of jumped the gun and got the hydraulic pump back on there. I know, I should have recorded everything, but it was literally a matter of inserting the key, which is like a little thing so that way it spins in the same direction, you know what I mean, like everything together. 2 bolts and the hydraulic hose. There's one of the bolts, the other one's down below, and the next thing I'm going to do is we got a hydraulic pump that we can put on now that we got O-rings and a gasket for it, and maybe even plug away at some wiring, which is kind of conveniently right here. So yeah, I'm going to show you where this hydraulic pump goes. We got the tape covering the first part, and down below here we got the old O-rings still in there that need to come out of there, so it shouldn't be too horrendous. Just a matter of popping out those 2 old O-rings, popping in some new ones, which I got all that stuff. And when we come to the wiring, I'm going to pull up the battery, and we're going to go through and replace a bunch of easy wires, trim out a bunch of old electrical tape, and try to make a little bit more sense out of this chaos that is here. Because, yeah, I don't think a lot of this stuff needs to be here. So, that's where that's at. And we're just going to take our time and go slow and steady and figure out how she goes as we go. The first thing I'm going to do is get the O-rings out of the bottom, insert the 2 new O-rings, get the gasket into the pump, figure out where all our bolts are for it, which are all still labeled by the wood stove, because labeling things is a good idea, especially when you're making a project that's going to be several months in the making. One thing I'm pumped on is how much I was able to wipe off this dang motor and clean it up a bit, because it was pretty grotesquely dirty, and it still is pretty much, but it's looking a lot nicer than what it was. Now that the hydraulic leak is done, it won't be leaking out. It's got a new seal, a new bearing, and a new O-ring. Okay, so maybe it really needed some love. But let me see here. So far, clutch kit. That was about $700 American. Tool for it, the bearing, that'd be about $800. Pump was about $400, so that was with shipping, because I had to get it done in Bonneville, and then they shipped it up to me in Fort Mac. The gasket and O-rings, I think that was another $30 or $40. Oil filter for it, which that's another project that's going to be happening with this guy too. That's that engine oil. That was, I think, another $40. And I got a jug of oil that's inside for the transmission and hydraulic on the rear end. It's a synthetic, and it's a dually, because you got a leather gasket in here, and you know, I think it's 70-something years old, and that leather's going to degrade, so you might as well just have something that's good for both of them. And when it comes time to do that, we got one fill here, and that's the rear diff fill. I'll figure out where the other one is. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, so that's one of those things where it's nice to have in that shop manual, because that shop manual will be utilized heavily for this, figuring out how much your oil levels are, your fill spots, and all that stuff. So when it comes to doing any wrenching on anything, get a book, and when in doubt, consult the all-knowing book. So yeah, we're going to get those 2 O-rings out, get started on the hydraulic pump, which is down over here. And this is the end here that's going to go into the motor, and this is the other end here that has the 2 O-rings on it, and here's the goodies right there. Bada boom, bada bing. So hopefully it all goes well. Yeah. Well, so it's done. Okay, well, I got this nice and cleaned right up. I had to literally put tape in the inside of the slot here, and then put a file to this just to flatten everything out. Let's run down here. We got poor lighting. There we go. I gave that a heck of a good wiping. Get rid of all the oil and stuff that's in there. Cleaned out all the stuff. I had to scrape it out with a flathead screwdriver. That side is pretty darn good as is. Got the O-rings down in there. That's nice. I got the gasket in the bag, and got all my bolts all nice and labeled. Threads are all cleaned up. So that should just pop right on in there. Lickety split, no problem, I hope. And that's a tachometer cable, which used to go up into there, which is no longer in service. Not a big deal. So yeah, time to get this thing into there. And it's big, it's heavy, it's awkward, and it's great. So I'm not going to do it on film because it's going to be too hard to hold this thing with one hand and hold the camera with the other. So that's the update. That's where we're at. Trying to get the gasket in there. Got the O-rings. Yeah, looking pretty good. So I'm going to basically put the 2 bolts through on the hydraulic pump here and put the gasket through this holes where the 2 bolts are. And that way the 2 bolts can literally hold the gasket in place. I'll put it on through the top and I'll slide it in, I guess. And hopefully everything kind of matches up and goes good. Yay. Oil pressure line, yeah. Seeing how I'm working out of BC, they can hold the parts for 2 weeks and they ship them back, even though I told them I wasn't going to be around for it, so I'm waiting on that. Not a happy camper, but that's the way she goes some days. Alright, I'm going to put this light away, put this camera away, and do some wrestling. Okay. Got her in there. I'm going to grab the light. Oh, there's 2 bolts down here, and then there's a third one that's up in there. That third one is the evil one. I couldn't find that initially. Started disassembling because I figured everything would be a little closer. So that's the O-rings in there. Gasket in there. That's about as clean as that pump's going to be. I could probably get a little bit up here. She's a little granny slimy. Get my labels off. Yeah. Lots of stuff to wipe off of there yet. Needless to say, it's going to be hard to get an old tractor that's leaking oil like, crazy clean, because that's near impossible. But the next step I want to do is pop the battery out and then change out some wires. So that's the next step. Just because, I had to do repairs and stuff here. I don't know if you noticed heat shrink on there because that wire was exposed. So, little things like that. Just make this thing a little bit more reliable and less likely to have a problem later on. Might as well seize the opportunity while you got the hood and everything off to kind of do these little things. And also while I'm waiting for oil pressure line. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to totally rebuild this thing fired up, but no, not that lucky. Yeah, great. But that's where we're at. Won't be long, I'll be able to dump the oil in this too, and change the oil in the block, which would be nice. I'm looking forward to that. So at least that'll be a fairly easy job to do. It's just the drainer in the bottom, and put your new oil in here, and new filter, and Bob's your uncle, right? So yeah, I gotta take off this nut and bolt here. Goes in behind. I think that's like a 3/8. Pop the battery out, and then we're gonna start going one wire at a time and figure out what goes where and replace it as we go. Well, we got into the wiring and we got rid of a lot of stuff that wasn't in use. It's a very, very simple setup. You got your ignition, which closes one circuit, and then you got your starter, which engages your solenoid, because once the ignition is closed or turned on, then you got power to this, and then to your starter, and literally that's it. It's a very, very simple electronics. I'm going to end up changing out this the red and the black, but I don't have the right gauge of wire on me here, so that's tomorrow I'll go to the store and deal with. The only thing I really have to do is tape up this and have it up into there. And that's all, folks. Kind of happy the way this looks. The wire going here, which goes down to our starter switch down here, there was a splice on that. It wasn't in good shape. This wire here, which goes to our coil, there was a couple breaks on that, so that's the reason why I replaced those two. On our negative feeding into our battery terminal over here, there was a couple breaks in the wire, so I wasn't very pleased with it. And on the red one here, you can see there's a little bit of damage here. The wire feels pretty solid throughout. I could probably get away with leaving this one, but seeing how this is a positive, I don't want this to wear through and short on the body of the tractor itself, because that would be bad. Probably not the best thing. So yeah, that's where she's at. And once I get everything done, I'm going to snug the two, the black and the red together. I might even put the little sections of heat shrink, and that way they're all nice and tight together, and run them out and just tie up all the wiring nice and good and tight. There was a few nuts and bolts that were a little tough to get off of here. This little guy here, the best trick for that is unscrew it a little bit, and then screw it back in, spray WD-40 on it, clean all the debris off, and then unscrew a little bit more, screw it back in, clean off all the stuff off your threads, and eventually you get it coming off of there. See the difference between this one and this one? Yeah, it makes a big difference. Just take your time with these things. It's an old thing. We have stuff here that this is a switch for the original lights that were on this thing that are no longer there. And then that's where we're at. In fact, I could probably get away with wiring up my lights when I do reinstall the frame. So I did add lights to this tractor after the fact. I could probably get away with putting, you know, an eye on here for the light, and putting another eye and attaching over here where the ground goes, and then just up into my little switch up here that I made, and then everything's all hunky-dory and pretty cool and awesome. So that's where we're at for the evening, and I'm going to probably hit the brakes on this. You know, the only thing really left to do is tape up this. The rest of the wires feel pretty good and sturdy. Everything we fabricated is pretty freaking awesome. It's in there. You get everything in a good little tug and yank, move stuff around, make sure everything's intact and solid. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Looking good. What do you think, Jace?
Pretty good.
Right on. And yeah, we had to take off the air filter today to get into here, which is a little bit of a task, but not a big deal. But we got everything all squared away, and it's a little bit of chaos in here, but we're going to pull the pin on this for now and call this good, because I'm kind of happy the way it's turning out. Like I say, we did make excellent progress. We got one hydraulic pump done, we got another hydraulic pump done, we got some wiring taken care of, which was something that I really wanted to dive into, but I was kind of worried about, you know what I mean, these wires being so old and brittle. And yeah, it was probably for the best. So I got no complaints, no regrets on that. I'm just glad everything kind of turned out the way she did. So yeah, it's looking nice. I don't think this is just like a, I don't know, a block of some kind, just to gap everything. I'm not sure, but it's there. I didn't alter anything. I just removed everything that was dead-ended. So that was good. Like the wire, two wires off this, so there's one short one, it was toast. There's a longer one, it looped all the way around and through the whole damn thing. So there's a pile of wires here and there, old stuff that just wasn't even attached to anything. So got rid of it. Why not? Doesn't need to be there, we can get rid of it. We'll simplify this and make this thing a little bit more reliable, simplistic, and easier to work on. Another day on this project. I got some motor oil, a jug for doing the transmission, and what else is there? The hydraulic, yeah, that's all in there, which is in that nice big gray bucket right there. Motor oil, wires for the alternator. Might have to just swap out both of them. There's two wires for the price of one kind of deal. So yeah, that's whereabouts I'm at. I also need to get me some electrical tape, so I gotta run over to my shed and get some electrical tape. And start filling some fluids in here. Yeah, and it's toasty in here. Holy smokes. I got a fire going, got the fan blowing. This place is gonna inflate like a big hot air balloon. Yeah. It's probably warmer in here than it is in the house, for crying out loud. Gotta love it. Alright, I'm gonna turn you guys off, and yeah, I'll give you guys an update as I go. I got a lot of tools and stuff I got to put away from the other day too. There's chaos in here, but it's nice. Things got done. Things got removed that need to be removed. A lot of old obsolete wiring, so that's nice from back when it was a 6-volt and when it had wired-in lights. At least I figured out everything. That's what it was and where it was going, and it should just be a straight shot, all ready, tickety-boo, and ready to rock and roll. Looking forward to getting some motor oil on this thing and then trying it out. I might be able to even start it today. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh, right. No oil pressure line. It would just spurt all out of there and I'd lose all that fancy brand new oil. No startup test today. No. Well, I managed to get the wiring all completed. Looks nice in there. The wire runs along in here, up to the solenoid. The negative goes back behind the air filter. I don't know if you can see it wiggling. And ground there. That got electrical taped up. Air filter is back on. Things are looking pretty good. Yeah. So the next thing to do on this is change the oil out of this block, which needs doing. And after that, put fluids into here, which is going to be fun, because yeah. Oh, look, it's a little on the dry side. Gunk on there? Nope. Yeah. Things are coming along pretty nicely, I have to say. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, hell yeah. Still recording. Oh, well. Do a little bit from this side. You see where we got the ground in there. The super simplified electrical. Got the coil wire going into the coil. Yeah. Looks nice. Got my batteries ready to go. Got the coolant line, which is kind of a dangler. That's okay. As long as she doesn't rub on that power steering there. Tuck that in a little bit. A few little bends here and there, and low profile. Yep, time to dump some oil out of here. So I got everything I need right here for the job, so time to make it happen. Engine oil got done. The drain's down the bottom here for the engine oil. I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's just it's an even funner angle to be working on. Replace the oil filter inside here, so that's good. Still up for the oil is on the other side here. And geez, I put what, 5 liters in there? Yeah. It says 4.5 quarts, so somewhere around there. Next one is this is transmission fill cap, and this is your hydraulic fill cap. And then from down below here, my shop is full of water right now. Springtime, it's great. There's a drain for our that'd be your transmission. And the next one back here, that is your hydraulic. And there's another one further back there, that's for your rear diff. So yeah, those are all dealt with. About damn time. So that's the extent of the fluids. The only fluid left in here would be the rear diff and antifreeze. Which I think I'm going to avoid doing both of them for now, because it's still too much work. So yeah, I'm just waiting on that oil pressure line, and then I can throw all this stuff back together. And that's going to be a job. Oh yeah, quite the job. But it'll be nice once it's done. Oh, it'll be nice once it's done. I'm looking forward to it. So, I guess this will conclude this section of the tractor teardown. I'm going to have to bring this all in and start editing it and try to get it out on the channel. It's been a while since I've been able to do anything on my channel just because I've been working so much. This is the first time I've been home in like 3 weeks. And when you're away from home, it's hard to make content. Hard to edit content when you do it at home. And I've been waiting for this project to come together. I ordered an oil pressure line, and it didn't come in. Well, it did come in, and then they shipped it back because I was away for so long. Yeah, great. But anyways, yeah, here's where we sit. Stuff is coming along. Got O-rings and gaskets. That's in the little kit that came for the hydraulic manifold, which is all installed. Everything's getting kind of cleaned up. The wiring, I'm so happy with the way that turned out. That was so necessary and needed. I made a big difference on that. Now, there's this transmission, hydraulic oil. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing how this tractor is going to run, especially with the new rebuilt hydraulic pump in the front end. That's going to make another big difference. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you were able to learn something if you own a Ford. You know, there's a lot of things in these, some videos out there that are just not in good enough detail. Like that third bolt on the hydraulic manifold, that long one. Yeah, I thought that was fun. I wish I had found that sooner. The rest of the project's been just rudimentary, pretty easy going, just time consuming, but really rewarding. I think the lifespan I'll get out of this tractor will be a lot greater. You know, it's been a long time since the fluid's been dumped in it and changed. I've never done it in the years I've had this tractor. I've only had it for about 3, maybe 4 years now, and this thing is a game changer on snow removal. Holy smokes. And without it, I was pretty much up Poop Creek. So to have it back and running, well, I shouldn't say that, to have it back and running for next year, so if we'll get going by the time we're out of for this year, it's going to make a huge difference. And simplifying the wiring, it cleans it right up. It makes it look a lot stouter of a unit. I'm really happy the way it turned out. It looks really good. Yeah, I like it a lot. And I'm looking forward to turning that key on and firing it up. It should be a nice experience. I'm looking forward to it. Especially now that everything's kind of in there and able to function. You know what I mean? Hydraulics, the clutch, the engine oil, the electrical, hydraulic in the front end, everything. Just a huge, massive pile of work. And time-consuming work, but totally worth it, I think. I know I'm doing stuff on this tractor my dad would be pretty happy with. A lot of the stuff he didn't do. I don't know if he was too intimidated or just didn't want to be bothered with it, but I'm pretty OCD when it comes to doing things mechanically, so I wanted to see things done right, and I can't complain. The only concern I got is maybe I should change out that rear diff, but it's a bloody sheet of ice back here that's soaked in the water, right? Like, does the guy want to be working in this? Like, yeah, I don't think so. No. Anyways, I keep rambling on about this beloved tractor of mine that I got from my dad, but I'm not. So, thanks for watching. Hope to see you later on down the road, and hopefully you tune in for when I get this old girl up and running. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.